Okay guys, I am back from that first video. Today is still September 10th, 2021, and you're looking at a dirty skillet after I fried hamburgers. I wanted to start with this video. I did another one on Labor Day, making an omelet and bacon, and you just show the meal, but eggs and bacon are pretty much of a no-brainer on keto, so there's really nothing to show there. I wanted to show you how I get stuck on egg off of cast iron. Here we're just going to get off hamburger fat from this, and I basically soak it when I eat. That's what I did in the other video. I just kind of edited out, making of the omelet. You've seen that before, no big deal. But before I soaked it with water, I emptied all the fat in here. I let that solidify, and when it's all solidified, I scrape it out and start all over again. I actually, once it's all scraped out, technically you could actually put that in the refrigerator and use it as a cooking fat. That's what they say you can do, and perfectly fine. So now I'm going to put the tripod down so you can see the skillet. And basically I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just show you the state of affairs on this one. And when I put the water in here, it was on warm. The skillet was warm, so you want to make sure the water matches the skillet. Right now the skillet is cooled off. I'm warming it up a little bit, and it's just been soaking in water. And what we're going to do is, and this is with hamburger, I'm just going to go ahead and scrub off the fat and the grease and the crud. And actually it comes off a lot easier than egg. And you'll see in the future, coming in this video, you'll see that what I do, it's a simple hack to get it off. And that's pretty much it. I use a little bit of soap too. Soap doesn't do anything to the seasoning as long as it's well seasoned. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'll show you the step-by-step in the next clip coming up, and I'll show you this one when we're all done. Okay guys. Okay, in this meat one, I'm back a little sooner. I had to add a little bit of soap on this well-seasoned pan, and as the other clips will show, I use Dawn. This happens to be a small one I keep on my sink top, but just a little bit of Dawn, and I use a scratch-resistant, one of those scrubbies you can get at your grocery store, and they look kind of like so, just like this. They're harmless. Just make sure you get scratch-resistant. And basically just scrubbing off some of the residue from the meat. And I didn't have to soak this in soapy water. I just soaked it in water. But sometimes you'll have to actually soak it for about an hour, as the future clip shows, the upcoming clip shows. A little bit of Dawn with some water, and that'll do the trick. So this should take care of it. This should take care of it. And I'll show you the step-by-step coming up. I'm just going to take a paper towel and wipe it down on the bottom. And here, you can kind of see it. That actually a bunch of shadows. Wipe it out with a paper towel. Let it dry on the stove. I'm probably not going to have to re-season it this time or do a mini seasoning. You don't have to do it every time, but you probably should do it every other time just to build your seasoning coats on your cast iron, just making it more non-stick as time goes on. So I'm going to go ahead and move it over here to the stove. And there it is. Pretty much ready, all ready to go for the next time. And here's the back. My 8 Griswold. And then now, stay tuned for the rest of the cleaning hack. Okay, now I am ready to clean my skillet, and I'm going to let it soak while I enjoy my low-carb breakfast. We have pretty much maybe 1 carb in the bacon, and it is 4 strips of bacon on my plate. And this is the so-called omelet. Actually, it looks delicious to me. And then I have a lower carb muffin, blueberry muffin. and I bake those in a muffin tray, so nothing to show there. But this whole breakfast has probably about 10 grams of carbs. I try to end up at 20 to 30 net per day, so a little bit of salad later with some quality protein with fat is all it will take. But that's the plate. I'm going to eat that in just a minute. But I'm going to show you what I do in the meantime to clean this up. There's a lot of stuck-on stuff there from the omelet. I haven't used this pan in a while. I try to rotate them out, but it's warm, so I'm going to put warm water in the pan. I'm going to also add a little bit of Dawn dish soap. It's not going to kill the seasoning as long as you keep just a little bit of Dawn in there, and that will help loosen the... I'm going to go ahead and spray it to get the loose bits off of there from the get-go. And I'm going to let that soak when I eat breakfast. And I meant to show you this. Instead of cooking it with kosher salts and rubbing it off, this is an easy way to do it. So we're going to let that soak a little bit. I've gone up to an hour, no problem. Easy way to clean cast iron. I'm going to do a mini seasoning at the end. And I'm going to eat the breakfast. I'm going to grab a fork. I should have had that out to start with. And we're going to sample the omelet. Yep, delicious. Salt, pepper. You got a little bit of veggies in there. Low carb, ham, shredded cheese, and hard cheese, and 3 eggs. All right, guys, I'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back again. Breakfast is finished. It was very good. And now we're going to go ahead and clean this skillet. I'm going to use a Scotch-Brite pad. Probably should be changed, but it's the one that doesn't do any abrasive damage on cast iron. And I'm just going to rub it off here gently. It's hard to see. I'll show you when I'm done. Now, sometimes it needs a little bit more, but it generally comes off fairly easily. And, you know, I put up another video showing something that I'd seen to get stuck off, burnt off, burnt on crud from meat. And I've used this technique also on it too, and soaking it with a little bit of Dawn dish soap, as long as it's well seasoned cast iron, will do no harm. And pretty much it's all come off. I'm going to rinse it, and I feel it with my hands, because sometimes there's minute stuck on egg or meat or whatever you have cooked in here, residue, food residue, and you want to try to get that off. Sometimes you don't see it until you take it under the light on your stove. But it does not destroy seasoning, but you do need to maintain your seasoning by giving it a mini seasoning after you've cleaned it. Just turn on the light. Actually, the light is on. Turn on this light a little bit more so you can see, but you can see that. And there's not anything left. So we're just going to take a paper towel and we're going to dry it off. And this is the small logo, Griswold number 7. It is one of my favorite omelet pans. I kind of use it back and forth between this one and my Blacklock 96, the new Lodge that I think I did a review on it a couple of years ago. I like that one too. It's really light compared to this. Very thin walls. And it has a little bit of, you can see it there, a little bit of residue. So we're going to bring it over here. Turn on the light. And it's not that bad. So this is, and you can see that most of the seasoning is still there. As is common with this though, and I'll just take a scrub pad again under the light so I can see it, and just give it another scrubbing, and we'll rinse it out. But it's very easy. You can probably let it soak for up to an hour. I just wouldn't encourage you to go longer than that, because you might forget about it. And if you let it soak too long, it's certainly not good for cast iron to soak that long. Now we're going to come back. I'm going to rinse it again. And we're going to see if we got that last residue off. I'm a bit OCD with my cast iron. I like it to look good. I think the less stuff you have on there, the smoother it is, the easier it cooks. But I kind of did that omelet the way I did so I could show you stuck on eggs that you can actually clean. Because, you know, I mean, sometimes you forget. Sometimes you let it go too long. That's much better. Much, much better. Now what we're going to do is let it warm up on the stove. We're going to do a mini seasoning. And put it right back over here. Get that little bit of egg off of there. And you can see it a lot better. It's back off so you can see it. So now we just need to get it nice and dark again. A little bit of egg particles. Oops. Why it's not cooperating today. Alright, get those off of there. We're going to turn it up again. We're going to turn it to medium heat. We're going to let it warm up for about 3-4 minutes, get it really, really, really dry. And we're just going to do a mini seasoning, and we're all ready to go for the next time. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I am back. And it's been on the stove now for about 3 or 4 minutes. You got to warm it up. And I'm going to use an old leftover Buzzy Wax seasoning puck. And I just keep it wrapped in wax paper. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it a coat. And I can smell the beeswax. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I'm going to take my old rag. Got to get my gripper on here. I'm just going to go ahead and just coat the surface like we do for giving it a regular seasoning in the oven. And you can see it's really steaming. So you want to try to get the excess rubbed off right away. You don't want to bake it on. And I'm going to use one of my existing shop towels that I have. I fold them. I take 2 of the towels and I fold them over about 8 times so I get the maximum usage out of them. And this one is almost spent. You can see there's some areas that do not have oil on them yet. So I just use that to get all the excess oil off. You want to get it on there, and you want it to smoke. You want it to kind of bake on there. And it's not going to be as good or as permanent necessarily as an oven seasoning, but it's going to keep your stuff ready to go and looking good. Look at that. Beautiful. Now we're going to do the other side. Be careful if you got a glass top. No dragging or dropping. There we go. It's awfully hot. We're going to go ahead and spread it around with the rag. It's a good idea to do this side too. Go ahead and wipe it off. I don't always do the bottom side. I think the most important is the cooking surface. But just want to get it all wiped off. And go ahead and do the handle. Handle isn't that big of a deal. You just want it to look uniform with the rest of the skillet. There we are. So basically we're just going to let this, there's a spot that I didn't get. I'm going to let it sit for about 2 minutes and I'll be back to show you the final result. Okay guys, I am back. This thing is smoking. You can see that there. That's as long as you want to keep it on there. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick wipe again. Make sure it's all uniform and even and ready to go. You can see how shiny it is. And let me turn that off. Go ahead and wipe that down too. And now I'm going to let it cool on the stove top. There's a lint down there. This one tends to catch extra lint for whatever reason. It's a little rougher of a surface. Time to let that one go. Got another one on deck. So we're going to wipe it down with the fresh towel. And there it is. No harm to the seasoning done, but you do need your mini seasonings from time to time. So I'm going to set that over there to cool. So anyway, there you have it. You have a pan all ready to go for the next time. After stuck on eggs, or you can even use the same technique with meat and other things that you may cook in your cast iron. All right, guys, have a happy Labor Day. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumb up and go make it a great day.